Hello, everybody. This is episode 7 of the breakdown, and today we're going to talk about the digital demolition. Basically, how technology is destroying society at the moment. And this is critical because I know we are all aware of the iPad kid situation, but let's clarify that's at home, right? Now, let us look at what happens inside schools and in education, right? And our source for today is going to be Jared Cooney, who wrote the book called The Digital Delusion. I would recommend that you check it out. But, anyways, let us proceed and see what ideas he has clarified within this. So, he stated that we basically gave students their laptops and took away their brains. All right? Let us examine how he came to this conclusion. Okay? So, schools basically replace academic vigor with convenience. Kids aren't necessarily like interested to learn. They just want to get their grades and pass, you know? And computers and the internet has made it easier to cheat in such ways, right? And this has gotten so bad that the book stated that every generation has outperformed the previous generation educationally except Gen Z. And how do we know this? Because it has been quantified in the literature in as far as the literacy skills, numeracy, capabilities, and critical thinking. So Gen Z is doing less than the millennials, and Gen Alpha is doing less than Gen Z. So you can see this problem is new and it's compounding. Because here's the thing, okay, so we know that technology makes life easier, right? It makes life easier because it offloads production. So if you're an expert and you have a machine helping you, you become better at it, right? But in no scenario is the machine actually making the person an expert. Basically, what I'm saying is that technology is convenient to a person who's already an expert, but as far as creating experts, it does not do that. Okay? And more importantly, the data from the Program of International Student Assessment has quantified that the more screen time one spends, the lower the test scores. Quantifiably, we know this. So we can see that reading off screens leads to shallow processing, whereas books force the brain to slow down and struggle and to encode the information. Yes, computers allow people to learn faster, but it doesn't have retention capability as such, right? And the problem is because of predatory technology. The same mechanisms that applications use, such as Facebook and other social media, the same gamified perspective that they use to keep people on there and consistently spreading their attention, not necessarily learning anything, but just being on there. The same predatory mechanisms are being applied to the digital education that we're giving our children, right? It used to be that the rich schools are the ones that have like digital material, right? But now we're seeing a reverse in the trends. Some of the wealthy individuals are choosing to put their kids in schools less reliant on technology, right? So, in conclusion, we have to understand that laptops are are functional. Yes, they're good, right? But they're only good in active participation. They're not good for passive consumption. We can just sit here and watch screens and not really learn much. But if we're using the computer for research and such, we retain more information and it's easier for us to do so. So I'm not saying that we should completely abandon digital products, but we should be more mindful on how we use them, right? And lastly, we have to look at the school model. Like some people have argued that the problem is not necessarily technology, but the rigid educational system that we have, which I agree. The No Child Left Behind system and the focus on standardized taste testing. Yes, it has switched people's preoccupation from wanting to learn to just passing grades, and also has switched the teacher's orientation towards wanting to pass grades instead of actually making sure that the students have actually understand the material, right? And all of this, imagine this, all of this hasn't even mentioned AI. I haven't even mentioned AI. So who knows what cataclysm that will bring? We really have no idea. But this essentially explains the digital demolition of our society as we see it today. We need to be careful on how we use and perpetrate technology, right? If you found value in this, like this, and have a good day.